J.League, Japón, gracias, muchísimas gracias. Vivir estos 5 años aquí, jugar aquí estos 5 años en esta liga tan increíble y exigente me ha hecho muchísimo mejor. Y como decía al inicio, Japón ha visto nacer a 2 de mis hijos, mi familia ha podido crecer, aprender el idioma, hacer amistades y convivir en un país increíble. Muchísimas gracias.
Hello, hello! This month's J.League Monthly is all about the man who is bidding farewell to the J.League superstar Iniesta. We'll be looking back to scenes where he worked his magic for 5 years. And don't forget Superplay Best 5. Here we go, go, go! Greetings, hello, hello, and welcome to all you J-League fans all over the world. I'm Harry Sugiyama, accompanied by the man in blue, Mr. Sean Carroll.
It's a pleasure to be here again. Yeah, I messed up. I'm not a City fan.
You're not a City fan?
I've gone and worn this.
You're not celebrating the treble, are you?
Very much the opposite of that, yes. I'm in mourning.
If I'm trying to recollect properly, I thought you were a... No, you're not a Brighton fan. You were born in Brighton, but you're a United fan.
Yes, yes.
Now, let's talk about the J-League. The J-League is full on into the season right now. But bit of a, should we say sad or kind of like, you know, a bit of news that was on the cards really, I thought, towards the beginning of the season. But the man himself, Andrés Iniesta, is hanging his boots for the J-League.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you touched upon it before. Like it was kind of surprising once it was announced officially, but it had been on the cards. I think when he renewed his contract last time, they announced in advance there was going to be a press conference, and it was sort of 50-50. Is he going to be leaving or is he going to be carrying on because he'd had injuries and whatever? And that rather than him just willing to hang around and pick up a paycheck, he said he wants to go and play somewhere else, and they've agreed it amicably. But yeah, the first reaction obviously was kind of surprised that it's happened now, he's off, yeah.
Indeed. So this time round on J.League Monthly, we're going to be paying a lot of respect to the man himself. He's been playing for basically 5 years in the J-League. So let's look back at his magic. So the big news arrived in May of 2018 when it was announced that Iniesta would be coming to Vissel Kobe.
Yeah, I was there at his press conference. They did it in Tokyo, at a hotel in Tokyo. Yeah, I don't know. There was a couple of hundred media. It was a huge event, and I mean, he was in the World Cup squad for Spain that summer as well. So he was still playing for Spain. You know, it was huge news that the player. Obviously, they'd had Podolski before, and Vissel had bought over a few players in the past. But this moving on to this level and bringing in a player of like the stature of Iniesta, achieving everything he'd done. There was so much excitement at the time about what he was going to bring, the amount of attention he'd bring to the league, and what he would do for Vissel, obviously, in raising their level.
And so the highly anticipated arrival of Iniesta materializes on July the 22nd, his first J-League game against Belmare. He came on halfway through, didn't he?
Yeah, coming on as a sub, that's not bad, is it? To have someone like Andrés Iniesta on your bench to come on. And yeah, you can see straight away here he was showing what he was capable of. I think maybe it took a while for him to, for the teammates to get up to speed and get used to having a player like that alongside them. But as you can see in the background there as well, the stands are completely full.
I remember that volley. I remember this left-footed volley.
That one volley.
Yes, I remember that volley.
Bueno, nivel individual, muy feliz de poder debutar en mi estadio, con mi afición, con mis compañeros, agradecerles todo el cariño y todo el apoyo que me han mostrado. Es un primer paso para seguir creciendo, para que todo vaya mejor y bueno.
So his first, highly anticipated again, a goal for J-League and for Vissel Kobe arrived in August, and here it is. Oh yes, calmly done. Round the keeper he goes.
It's a little bit like that Bergkamp goal against Newcastle. Not quite as flashy, but that first touch.
Yes.
He kind of turns almost in an unnatural direction. The defender obviously expected him to try and go the other way, just spun around, and then the composure saw the goalkeeper, decided, no, I'll make it even easier and just go around you.
Ridiculous touch.
Yeah.
And assist from the man, none other than Lucas Podolski.
Oh, right, yeah, it was Podolski's assist as well.
Yep. So his first season with the J-League, he played 14 games and scored 3 goals. Yes, this was a cracker, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously he always had the ability to finish as well, but in my head I always thought of him more as like a creative kind of player. Obviously he's got the famous goals, the World Cup final and things like that, but I always felt that he was more the case of like the hub in the middle of the pitch, controlling things, just getting things going. His vision, just to pick out a pass, see where his teammates are, where the opponents are. You can see here, even at this point, you know, I think he was probably 34 around that time. You know, getting on a bit in age, and the J-League is a fast-paced league. You know, you need to be fit, but he still had that quickness in the brain to be able to get by the opposition and still make things happen. And he showed, I think, that first 6 months what he was still capable of.
Into the second season he goes. He was given the position of a captain, which I found rather surprising.
Did you know? I was surprised he wasn't given it straight away. I mean, if you bring it, I mean, I guess they had Podolski at the time. Maybe Podolski was captain when he first came in. But if you've got a player of Iniesta's quality, experience, I think he's going to be out on the pitch. He's going to be the captain for you anyway. Everyone is going to be looking to him for that leadership. And yeah, he showed that in this season. Yeah, really came into his own. This is I would say probably his best season.
Yep.
When he came here, really in form, really seemed, still fit, and yeah, as you can see there, going around, rallying the troops when things weren't going so well as well with results, and celebrating when they were.
Here we go, 2019, the famous Emperor Cup, and yes, they did it.
Yeah, well, this was Vissel's first major piece of silverware. This is what he was brought over to achieve. And obviously in the league they kind of struggled in that first year and a half he was here, weren't able to get up and challenge for the title. They did get into the Emperor's Cup final, and they were playing against the most successful club in Japan, Kashima Antlers, who always find a way to win. And it really looked at this point when Iniesta and Vissel won it, that this was it, this was the starting point. They were going to go on from there. It qualified them for the Champions League, which we'll come to soon, and it really looked like this was the point where the club and Iniesta were going to take off.
Into season 3 for the famous man. The year 2020, they go into the Champions League, the ACL, and yes, he scores. He makes a couple of famous assists, and they go into the knockout tournament. But unfortunately, he had a few injury problems, didn't he?
Yeah, this was the year they pushed on. They went into Asia. I think in 2019, the club said they wanted to become the best club in Asia. I think that was their slogan they put out. And this looked like the year where they were really going to go on another level. Just fell a little bit short, but again, everything was building nicely, and Iniesta was there at the heart of everything.
Into season 4, 2021. Unfortunately, played with a couple of injuries towards the beginning, but he became rock solid halfway through and spurred the team on to spot number 3.
Yeah, I think that was the highest that they'd ever finished in J1, and again it was that kind of step by step. As you said, he had a few injuries, maybe didn't feature as much as he would have hoped, and obviously the club would have hoped, but just having him around, I think, obviously helped spur them on. They finished 3rd in the end. Still, I think a little bit way back in terms of points from who won the league, but they were there, they were starting to get in the mix, and again it looked like bit by bit everything was falling into place, and Vissel were going to start to challenge, and Iniesta was going to add at some point another league medal to his huge collection. I can't remember exactly how many he got in Spain, but a hell of a lot. And you can see here from this footage that he still had it. When he had the ball, he could still make so much happen. It was just as we touched upon earlier, like once his legs started to go, it was that mobility was a bit of a problem, but technically he never lost that ability.
And then 2022, 2023, again a couple of really disappointing injuries. But time after time, he just reminded how great he is.
Yeah, absolutely. As I just said before, whenever he has the ball and he has the time to use it, he can make things happen. He seems to see the game quicker than most other players. He knows exactly what decision to make and when to make it. Things didn't quite click, as you said, a few injuries here and there. The team was suffering a terrible run of form throughout the season in 2022. And then this year, they've been fantastic, but unfortunately for him, they've been fantastic without him, and the coach has struggled now to find a way to reintegrate him into the side. Obviously doesn't want to disrupt the players who've been doing so well. And it's difficult. When you've got a player that good, you want to bring him in, but if you've got players who are doing well, you can't. So that ultimately, I think, is what has led to him and the club deciding that it's time for them to part ways.
So Sean, we got a whiff of Iniesta's magic. And how are you feeling about it? Can you understand that he's called like a legend, he's called like a genius?
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at what he achieved in Europe with Barcelona and with the Spain national team, I mean, he's won, I think, pretty much every possible accolade there is to win with a club. And coming here, I mean, we've touched upon it throughout this look back over his time here. Ultimately, the results on the pitch didn't really come the way that people expected. Vissel haven't won the league yet. They might still this year, and obviously then you can look back and say that he would have played a role in helping to prepare the foundations for that. But if you look at the whole picture of what he did since he came here and the impact he had on the club, on the teammates he played with, the people he played against, it really created a buzz, I think, having him here.
The league too, you had opposition like playing against Iniesta. Obviously, it would create a buzz inside the opposing squad, but not only them, but the fans too.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was still, as you said, off the pitch. I think it created that excitement amongst fans, amongst kind of more casual football fans. Obviously, these days, football has to compete with so many other forms of entertainment to get people's eyeballs, to get people interested. And having a player like that in the country did create a buzz. Amongst the media, amongst, as you said, opponents too. And in a way, maybe that almost didn't help Vissel, because every time a team was playing against them, there's that extra bit of motivation for these players. Like they're playing against Andrés Iniesta, so they up their game another couple of percent, 5%, that motivation. And it made it even harder then for Vissel to achieve something, because every weekend the opponent really wanted to beat them so that they could go home and tell their friends, their kids, I beat Iniesta. So it had that impact as well, I think.
It's true. But I think Iniesta kind of orchestrated his position inside Vissel very well.
So the young players coming through at Vissel, I mean, Kyogo Furuhashi now doing so well. He's mentioned many times how much Iniesta helped him. Iniesta's praised him a lot about how well he developed. I think stuff like that is where we'll eventually see, when we look back in years, that that's the impact that Iniesta left. And he said that the thing he hopes he's left is that sense of professionalism and the fact that he did take it seriously, and he hopes that he's given back to the Japanese fans, mostly of Vissel, of course, but in general the J-League fans and everything like that.
Would you ever see Iniesta like coaching a team maybe? I mean, we're talking about this is like ahead.
Yeah, that is one thing that's kind of disappointing me about him going. I always kind of thought that he might do what Xavi had done. Xavi went to, I think it was Al Sadd in Qatar. It finished his playing career, then became a coach, and now he's at Barcelona. And I wondered if maybe that was initially what Iniesta was thinking too. Finish his career as a player at Kobe, get some coaching qualifications, and then become a coach. He may go and play somewhere else for a year or two and then decide to do that. He said that he wants to contribute to Kobe at some point in the future. It'd be great if Iniesta did come back at some point and took his first steps on that road.
We shall see. We shall indeed see. Yes, so let's big it up. Massive respect to Iniesta for excellent 5 years. We've been talking about him, and do not forget his last match, or supposed last match for the J-League, which is going to be on the 1st of July. Vissel Kobe versus Sapporo, Contadori Sapporo. Yes, looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, he's not retiring, so it feels like we're kind of wrapping up his career. He's still going to play somewhere else, but for the last J-League game, as we said, he's not played much this year. But I think everyone wants to see him on the pitch at some point. If we can see one more goal, one more assist or something, it would be fantastic. But to give him the farewell that he deserves, as we've said, we've praised him a lot here for everything he's brought, and for the fans to be able to give him a send-off. Obviously, Vissel fans will hope that that's with a win. Sapporo fans probably not so much, but I think he deserves to get the acclaim from everyone for sure.
Looking at Sapporo's style this season, fairly aggressive.
Fairly aggressive. It could end up 5-4 to either team. So definitely not a game to be missed, I think.
And don't forget, the match is going to be broadcasted live on YouTube to all you international J-League lovers all around the world. So definitely tune in. Really want you guys to be part of the massive farewell then. And we've got another lovely match on our cards, don't we?
We do indeed. I'm going to see if you can remember the full title of it.
Title with me looking down. It's Meiji Yasuda J-League World Challenge 2023 powered by Docomo. And it's a big match. Yokohama F Marinos against, yes,
Manchester
them lot.
Yeah, I hope Pep hasn't watched this because he's not going to be happy. I'll be covering that game too. So, yeah, he might pick me out in the press conference.
But that match too will be broadcast live on our YouTube channel too. So don't miss that one too. Okay, so that's it for now, and take care, cheerio, bye-bye. But last but not least, we have Super Play Best of 5. Bye-bye.